I'm going to leave the audio on for this so that we can hear it, but so we can hear the gear changes. So what's happening here? Right, we're going to leave the dock. We're going away here, and you can hear the boat go into gear. There, you can see the boat twist around as I try and untie that bow line. You can see the effect that has on the back of the boat. So the bow line's untied now. We've now gone into gear. There's the bow thruster, and click into forwards. But you can see the boat still, the engine was still twisted, hence why we've got that twist on. Now, what we need to do now is just straighten up, take some bow thruster away, but we end up getting blown into the pontoon a little bit more. We turn away from it, or turn the engine into the pontoon, and then we power into the pontoon, which is what's happening there. Ideally, the engine would have been shifted the other way round. Click, take it out, and then we would motor forwards. Here we go, we end up swivelling, and we've got all the lock on now, and we're turning really close to that boat where we're going side onto the breeze where we can get blown onto. It's just important to remember where our danger areas are. So our danger areas are everything downwind, and we want to try and give ourselves as much space as we can downwind to manoeuvre. So ideally we're going upwind all the way across that channel if we can. Right, next one in, we're coming in. Starting the turn nice and early. You can always see the boat's already got a bit of angle on. In we go. And then engine's coming over into astern, and then we're starting to bring the boat backwards. Now I've got a bit of bow thrust going on here, and again, so we're probably rotating the bow around a little bit too much, and you can see the way the engine's going there as well. So we're pulling the engine into gear now. You can feel the job that has. So wait for what happens now. The bow's starting to get blown, and we're just going to have to use loads of bow thruster to counteract that. Loads of bow thruster. Now the boat, all because the boat was kind of over rotated when we first started this manoeuvre, so we came in and span it a little bit too much. Now the breeze has got hold of the bow even more so, and we're going a bit sideways. So we've got load of bow thruster to square that up. Here it comes. There we go. We're not doing anything with the engine at the moment because we don't need to. The breeze has blown us back into the pontoon, and we don't need to do anything. It's all about the bow at the moment. The only thing we can do with our engine here is straighten up and escape. So we're coming back and squaring up into it. Now this is where we've got a low bow thruster, a little bit of forwards with that helm over, and you can see how that boat has just gone sideways. Nicely done. Here we just need to be a little bit faster with our lines. Now here we fluffed getting the line onto the cleat, and that's what happens. So I realise what it is, and I come to the back and stop it. Now that's all that's going to do, because that's where the breeze is blowing you. The breeze is blowing that boat back into there. So if we're docking on your own, you just need to be more careful. You need to be faster. As we come out of here, coming out, we're leaving the boat in gear, and we're turning really fast, really quickly onto out of our berthway here. I prefer to be going straighter out to start with, and then starting to turn. Okay, I'm just going to get some models, so bear with me for a second. Hello, so like we alluded to before, here's my breeze, here's my pontoon, here's my boat with a little bit of windage, and my outboard. So we've come in, we've started to turn, and what's happened is the wind has gone to that side of the bow. We've then put the engine over to this side, and we've gone in astern, which the breeze is blowing the bow off that way, and the engine is pulling the bow that way as well, so it just compounds our issues that we're having. Now this one starts off being the best and ends up being one of the worst. So I will kind of try and talk you through and see how this happens. So the rotation on the boat's really, really nice to start with. Look how fast the boat's rotating round. There we are. We've got the engine already tilted over into astern, so the boat's already canted around, and that bow is facing towards that red boat, so it's kind of the right side of the wind. So you can see how the breeze now is blowing you sideways on. A little bit more bow thruster to bring the bow in. And the boat's coming back nicely square and centrally into this gap. We're turning the engine over. See here, I'd be going the other way in forwards. So I'd be pushing the back of the boat into the pontoon. So here we are now, into the middle of the pontoon and stopped. So what we'd be looking for now is all the way over and into forwards, whereas we're a little bit late with that, so we're a little bit far back into the pontoon. So what we've done there is we're now looking at the back of the boat, whereas it's the front that's gone. Because we're too far back, we're now focusing on the front. You don't want to put the boat into gear. So now the bow is being taken by the breeze, and we end up getting a bit close and friendly with this boat here. What would be the big difference if we go back a few little bits, if I do that now, is that we need this boat to be stopping and going into the pontoon now. So at the moment we've gone bow thruster out, it's all a bit late to now go into gear. Whereas with the gear needed to be 5 seconds earlier to have this effect, because we're a bit too far back in the berth, which is where we've ended up now. And now you're worrying about the back of the boat, not the front, which is why the bow's now gone. Which is why we've ended up here, pushing us away. So here we've got a little bit of throttle with the engine, and then we're going to use loads of bow thruster to get the bow away from that boat, because it's now being pushed onto it by the wind. If we'd have gone bow thruster first, we would have been the bow would have wind would have been on the starboard side of the bow, and we would have been able to accelerate off in forwards in a much more calm manner. So obviously it's only from one angle this, and I hope it's been of some use to you. Looking at how the boat operates from this angle. Now, look, the main taking point really is when we're in forward, with all the way over and moving the back of the boat. Now, which some of this footage really clearly shows. But if it's been useful, let me know. All right, all the best. Bye bye.